ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलम् श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा. Welcome to the Manah Shiksha series. Yesterday we discussed the ninth verse of Manah Shiksha, and we discussed Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary on it. It's a very beautiful verse. I'll just recite the verse. Madishanathatve vraja vipinchandram vrajavane स्वरिं तन्नातत्वे तदतुलसखित्वे तुललिताम् विशाखायां शिक्षालि वितरन् गुरुत्वे प्रियसरो गिरीन्द्रो तत्प्रेक्षा ललितारति दत्वे स्मरमाना. Now, Raghunath Das Goswami is instructing his mind how we should meditate on the beautiful moon-like Vraja King, Vraja Vipin Chandra, and then we should meditate on Srimati Radharani and Radharani's dearmost friend Saki is Lalita, and then Vishaka, Shiksha, who gives Shiksha, Vitaran, who acts as a guru. Yesterday I was mentioning that it is Sarup Damodar, but it is actually Ramanand Rai. Sorry for that. Ramanand Rai is Vishaka Saki and Sarup Damodar is Lalita Saki. So meditate on Vishaka and then meditate on Priyasaro. Priyasaro is Radhakunda and Giri Govardhan. So these are the 6 meditations the mind should do to attain the prayojan. Initially, the meditation was to clean the mind, to give up pride. So the anarth nivritti has happened up till verse 7. In 8th, one's own destitute condition, that I'm dushtatvam, I'm shattasya, but your mercy is what I'm made of. And now, further, how to attain prayojan, these verses are speaking. So he elaborately discussed Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary which is nothing but, meditation on Krishna, the prayers, then meditation on Radharani, the prayers, and then meditation on Lalita first, Lalita Ashtakam, we recited, and then meditation on Vishaka. Vishaka is Yamuna, so Yamuna Ashtakam verses we went through the entire, and then Priyasaro is Radhakund, prayers to Radhakund, and then Girindro, then Govardhan Vasa Pratna Dashakam. So that's what, in essence, is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary. So let us now today go to Shivram Swami Maharaj commentary, and also we will see Sachinandan Maharaj commentary, which are quite brief. Today we'll complete both the commentaries. One may have questions about the details on how to go further in the process of bhajan. So how to attain prayojan in our bhajan? Here is the answer. Here the answer is given by Raghunath Das Goswami, says Maranam, just meditate. This meditation is a great science. Specifically, Jeev Goswami describes 5 specific stages of meditation, which we ultimately cultivate as we develop in Krishna consciousness. So anyone knows the 5 stages of meditation? Those who have studied Updeshamrit should also know this, which also Jeev Goswami quotes in the Sandarbhas. Anyone knows which are the 5 stages of meditation? Anyone knows the 5 stages of meditation? No. Okay, let us go through. Just like Japa has its stages and devotional service has its stages, everything has a development process. This is called Krama. Krama means step by step. So in Japa also there are stages from Namaprad to Namabas to Shuddhanam. And in devotional service, there is Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anarth Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, and Prem. So there is stages also in meditation, and step by step, we go through this. So it is with Smaranam. In the first stage, also called Smaranam, one searches with one's mind for the name, the form, and the qualities of Lord. We are searching, trying to find. There is no real spontaneous attraction yet. It's an external effort of the mind, by the mind, to reach out and try to contact. Smaranam means we are trying to hear, and the next thing we know, we are thinking about something else. So this all happens in our japa, we know that. Smaranam means we are trying to think about Krishna's qualities, and the next thing we are thinking about when it is prasad time. So we try and we make an effort, but there is lack of consistency. Dharan, the second stage. So the first stage was Smaran. The second was Dharan. Dharan, the second stage, is when one can withdraw one's mind from the external stimulus and actually maintain a slight contact with the different features, names, pastimes, and paraphernalia of the Lord. So in the Dharan stage, the meditation goes a little deep and we are able to fix internally and not get distracted externally. We have all experienced it at some point. For example, sometimes we start reading some pastime and get so absorbed, we forget where we are. So this is like the stage of Dharan. We even forget we are in this material world, and perhaps we even forget who we are. So that is called Dharan. So this is some idea of what Dharan is. So first is Smaran, second is Dharan. At the stage of Dhyan is when the mind becomes fixed. So there is Smaran, there is Dharan, and then the next is Dhyan. Dharan is general, but Dhyan is very specific. When one is actually able to fix one's mind in specific pastimes and forms of the Lord with great detail, and having heard, one is able to visualize all the different topics which one has read in transcendental literatures. So this is the stage of Dharan. Sorry, dhyan. Dhyan is more specific. It's not general. When dharan means you're trying to hold. In dhyan, not only are able to hold, you're able to, now with the just like a lens, you're able to minutely go more deeper. The fourth stage is called dhruva or anusmriti. That is when dhyan matures into a stage when the meditation is uninterrupted. Anusmriti. Anu means continuous, smriti means remembrance, and very deep, with the result that one feels great pleasure, transcendental bliss. So that is anusmriti. That is the stage of anusmriti. It is no longer an effort. So now it is no longer an effort. In the beginning, reaching out means it's like we are groping, we are struggling. Dharan means that we think of our objects of meditation, but we don't really have to struggle to keep out the distractions of the material world. And Anusmriti is one when receives that taste where there is no difficulty in being absorbed in meditation, but the difficulty is getting out of this state of meditation and relating to the material world. So the gopis, when Krishna left, were so much absorbed in remembrance of Krishna, but they used to sit in meditation so that they can withdraw their mind away from Krishna, because whatever they used to see Krishna. So this is like some idea of what is Anusmriti. The final stage is Samadhi. Jiva Goswami says this is when the only object of meditation is spontaneously manifested in the totality of the mind. In other words, without any effort. So that is the stage of Samadhi. This stage of meditation happens of its own accord. Natural it is. In other words, by the mercy of the Lord, coming down from the platform of the transcendental realm, the spiritual world comes into the mind and then takes over the entire mind, not some of the mind, but all of it. So we can just have an understanding or a glimpse of what really is Samadhi. So these are the different stages of meditation. So now let us see who remembers these 5 stages of meditation. Which are the 5 stages? One hand has been raised. 2. Okay. Tirthpal Prabhuji. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam Prabhuji. The 5 stages are Prabhuji. First is Smarana, then Dhyana, then Dharana, then Anusmriti, then Samadhi.
Yeah. Where have you come across this 5 stages? Where it is else discussed?
In Nectar of Instruction Prabhu.
Yes. In Nectar of Instruction, it is discussed. Nectar of Instruction, which verse?
Which verse? 5th verse, Prabhu.
Oh. Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta. That is not 5th verse.
Okay.
तन्नामरूपचरितादिसुकीर्तनानु स्मर्तो क्रमेण मनसि नियोज्य तिष्ठन् व्रजे तद् अनुरागजननानुगामी कालं नयेत्यखिल उपदेशसारम्. Verse 8 of the Upadeshamrit, which is speaking about Raganuga Bhajan. Smartyo kramena. Remembrance, krama, step by step. Rasanasya manasi niyojyatis. I'll just open the verse. It's very, very important because there it is mentioned kramena, smartyo kramena. You should remember by kramas, step by step. And these are the kramas, the stages. It begins with smarana, dharana, dhyana, anuspriti or dhruvanuspriti. Sometimes it is called as dhruvanuspriti. And then it is samadhi. Yes, let me show the verse. Tannama rupa charitadi sukirtanano smartyo kramena rasana manasi niyojya tishtan vraje tad anuraga jananugami kalam nayeta kilam ityupadesha saram. This one verse, entire Raghunaga bhajan is given in one verse. So we need to study it a lot to really understand every term. Maybe we can have one class on it. Smartyo Kramena is one class in itself. So gradually Prabhupada is saying. Okay. So now I will refer to that. So these are the different stages of meditation, and we begin by practicing the first one, then later the others. So although Maharaj is saying we should begin with the first one. The first one is Smaran, and then later the others. But before this, something else comes. Before we begin meditation, Smaranam, something else comes. What is that? Who will answer this? Before we can do Smaranam, begin meditation, before that, what else comes? Okay, Krishna Pad Prabhuji. Yes, Krishna Pad Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. I'm not sure, Prabhuji.
You're not sure.
Uh,
Okay, Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji Dandavat Pranam. Again, it's my guess. Is it Shravanam?
Excellent. After Shravanam comes what?
Smaranam.
No.
Shravanam Kirtanam.
Yes, Kirtanam. And then Smaranam comes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. These 5 stages, they are called as Dasha. Dasha are stages. So first is the Shravana Dasha. Always engaging hearing Krishna Katha. Now to come to this stage also is a very advanced stage. Please remember that. The Shravana Dasha is a very, very advanced stage. We are somewhere before this stage. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Jaiva Dharma classifies there is a Krama Shravana Dasha and Akrama Shravana Dasha. Krama means systematically hearing. You take one subject and systematically hear and understand that subject according to your level and then go step by step. So this Krama Shravana Dasha, Kramahina and Krama Shravan Dasha is recommended, and many devotees don't do this Kramana Shravan Dasha. Our bhajan kriya, which is anishtita, that time there is anishtita Shravan Dasha we are going through. Only when we come to the Naishtiki Bhakti at the stage of Nishta, we have, we want to constantly engage in hearing. So then we have attained Shravan Dasha, please remember. At the stage of Varana Dasha, there is a stage of acceptance. We become attached to hearing Krishna Katha. We cannot live without Krishna Katha. We feel that my matchitta matagata prana, my prana is dependent that if I don't hear Krishna Katha, I leave my body. So that is the stage of Varana Dasha. And Smaran Dasha, the stages were mentioned, Smarana, Dharana, Dhyana, Anusmriti and Samadhi. So Maharaj spoke about here. And please remember, these are very, very advanced stages. Raganuga Bhakti begins from Shravan Dasha, goes through Varan Dasha, Smaran Dasha, Apan Dasha and Sampati Dasha. And this is at the stage of Nishta. And this is the stage of Ruchi. And Asakti stages are Smaran Dasha and Apan Dasha. At Sampati Dasha, at Apan Dasha, we realize our constitutional nature. This is Bhava Bhakti. And Sampati Dasha is Prema Bhakti. So we go through these Raganaga Bhakti stages through Shravana, Varana and Smaran Dashas. I hope it is clear. And now we have seen what is Smaran, Dhyan, Anusmriti and Samadhi. It's very, very rare to come to the stage of Smaran Dasha. But before that, Shravan Dasha is very important, and specifically Krama Shravana, hearing systematically. And we don't have taste that we can hear 10 hours a day or 15 hours a day. We have to hear the mantra, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And you know how difficult it is to attentively hear the mantra because lack of taste. So this is the stage of Nishta. When our Shravan is very steady, we systematically hear, we always engage in hearing Krishna Katha. So this is just a brief summarization. Maharaj has not brought out this chart in his explanation, but I just additionally added this insight. Okay. Yes, Mataji, you have a question?
Prabhuji, could you elaborate the definition of hearing it systematically means what? I mean, what should be the steps like?
Okay. Hearing systematically means basically just like a first standard student has his textbooks which are prescribed by the school, and he studies those books. He doesn't study 10 standard books because he cannot digest and understand the subject. He has to gradually, understand the basic fundamentals. Then he's in 5th standard, he will study 5th standard books. And there's again, according to his level of development of consciousness and development of intellect, the subjects are selected according to that. Then in the 10th standard, he will study mathematics, which is more trigonometry and all that. But in 1st standard, it is basic addition, subtraction, deletion. He doesn't study, advanced level mathematics. So similarly, devotees should study systematically Prabhupada books. And, and the beginning stage is the basic fundamental foundational books. And then we don't study advanced book like the Acharya's commentaries at the beginning. It doesn't help us. So, and the way you study it also, it should be systematic. You go through the book and you study chapter by chapter, and there's a methodology of studying books. And maybe after 2-3 years, after studying the foundational books, then we study the Bhakti Shastri, and then like that Bhakti Vaibhav, like that, when we systematically study, then that is Krama Shravana Dasha. The terminology I don't recollect. Krama Hina and Krama Shravan Dasha. That's what, as far as I remember, I can find out and tell you. I hope it is clear, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Therefore, Srila Prabhupada emphasized the first one, Smaranam. We should learn how to hear and fix our mind on the sound vibration. Hear. We have to hear the mantra. Shravan karna chahiye. When we learn how to do that, then gradually that sound vibration will pull us along into deeper and deeper states of meditation. The question arises, what should we meditate on? Smara. Raghunath Das Goswami had used the term smara. So what to meditate on? Raghunath Das Goswami gives us so many nice objects for our meditation. He writes, Madisha Nathatve, the Lord of my mistress, namely Krishna. And we are meditating of Vraja Vane Swarim, the queen of the forest of Vrindavan, Srimati Radharani. Then we meditate on the associates of Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna, like Atul Sakitve Tu Lalitam, Lalita Saki, Vishakayam. We meditate on Vishaka, who is Guru, who teaches as in the relationship between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramanand Rai. Ramanand Rai is Vishaka. So I just want to correct myself. Ramanand is Vishaka and Lalita is Sarup Damodar. Yesterday I made a mistake. I mentioned that Vishaka is Sarup Damodar. No, Vishaka is Ramanand Rai. And that's why I see, even to know about Krishna and the highest mellows which Radharani relishes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in the mood of Radharani, but he took instructions from Ramanand Rai. Ramanand Rai is the highest samvad, the topmost philosophical discussion in this universe, which happened. So Ramanand Rai is giving Shiksha to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramanand Rai is Vishaka. That relationship, Ramananda is teaching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna, how to be in the mood of Srimati Radharani, and so many things. Such is the development of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's manifestation of Bhava. Up until the meeting with Ramananda Rai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not able to enter into full Radha Bhav because he can't get it unless he gets it from Radharani's associates. So Mahaprabhu started manifesting the symptoms of devotion when he went to Gaya and met his spiritual master, Ishwarpuri. And he started feeling separations of Krishna when he came to Navdeep and started the Sankirtan Andolan with his associates chanting the holy names in the night at Shiva's Angan. And then it all culminated in he taking sannyas and then going to Jagannath Puri and defeating Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. But only when he went to South India Yatra, because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya told him that you meet Ramananda Rai. He knows the confidential secrets of devotion. And only to Ramananda Rai, discussion Rai Ramanand Samvad, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested to him his form as Radha and Krishna. Whereas for Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he manifested the Shadbhuj Gaurang form. So the full Radha Bhav manifested after the meeting with Ramanand Rai. Just like sometimes people ask, do I have to go through Guru to get Krishna? Yes, just like Krishna has to go through Guru in order to get Radharani. So Krishna as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to go through Guru like Ramanand Rai in order to get the mood of Radharani, the Radha Bhav. So even Krishna has to learn that process from Ramanand Rai. This is why it is called Shiksha. Vishaka gives the divine couple so many instructions. So Vishaka gives instructions to the divine couple. So Lalita and Vishaka are the two of the foremost gopis. We also meditate on Priyasara. Sara means lake and Priyasara means very dear lake. This phrase in this verse refers to Radhakund, which is a very form of pure love of Godhead. And also meditate on Girendra, Govardhan Hill. When we go to Vrindavan, then we go to these places. We go to the birthplace of Lalita Sakhi, just behind there is Varsana. We go to Krishna's birthplace and places of all different pastimes. Why? So that we can meditate and accumulate memories and thoughts and appreciate the moods of these particular places. Everything is intimately connected. Going to the holy places is not just a trip to India. It is not just getting away from the headaches of the West or to get a break from Sankirtan. Visiting holy places is part of a systematically planned process to make us Krishna conscious. Just like a jigsaw puzzle, every single lesson that we hear, every book, every instruction, everything that Prabhupada planned and gave us all fits together. We just have to know which part fits with the other. This picture is already there. We just have to put it all together. Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives as many praise in his commentary to this verse about meditation, because prayer is synonymous with smaranam, or internal absorption or remembrance. So that's why the prayers are there, because prayer is synonymous to smaranam. Prayer means meditation. Prayer is the essence of spontaneous devotional service. Beautiful definition of prayer. One should learn to pray. Prayer should not be simply an external thing, but should be a heartfelt call, a personal expression, some other to just get mercy. When we hear Srila Rupa Goswami's verses from Stavamala, like the ones quoted in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary on this verse, with much detail and descriptions, we should realize that they are non-different from what is being described. And if we know how to hear nicely, then we will be able to see the very same thing. In the same way, we can enter into meditation with Raghunath Das Goswami's prayers to Srimati Radharani, as well as the Lalita Ashtakam and the Yamuna Ashtakam, which is given because Vishaka Devi is non-different from Yamuna. Glorifying Yamuna is just like glorifying Vishaka. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also quotes prayers to Radhakund and Govardhan Hill. So that is the commentary of Shivram Swami Maharaj. Just a point here, I think yesterday also mentioned, the Devtas went to Shir Sagar and prayed, and then Brahma sat in meditation, and it was transmitted in his heart, the message of Vishnu. So by prayers, we go into meditation, and prayers are in one sense smaranam. Okay, so any questions regarding Shivram Swami Maharaj commentary before we go into Sachidanand Maharaj commentary? Any questions? Okay, let's go to Sachidanand Swami Maharaj commentary, which is also very brief. It's very relishable, so that's why I thought I'll add this. In this verse, Raghunath Das Goswami goes deep into his heart and gives us the full picture of Vrindavan. While he's writing this verse, he's sitting in Vrindavan, an elderly, very thin figure. He cannot tolerate the separation from Radha and Krishna, and he wants to give us instruction on how to attain success. Verse 9 is a fantastic guide for meditation. Raghunath Das Goswami starts with a wonderful picture. He calls Krishna Vraja Vipina Chandram. Chandram means the moon. Imagine the scene. There is a moon like Krishna in the Vrindavan forest. So in the forest, when we go at night and see the beautiful moon, immediately we should remember, oh, the beauty of this moon is so nice. What was the beauty of the Krishna on the full moon night? Next to him is Braja Vaneshwarim, Radhika. Imagine the moonlight nights where the sand of the Yamuna is illuminated by the rays of moons. The Vrajvasis and Sadhakas are like Chakora birds, mystical little birds who live from the drinking of the moon rays. There are birds who are like the prana, who like those prana, people who live on air alone. They look at the rays and they can fly to wherever they like. The normal devotees are Chakora birds who drink the rays of Krishna. But the servants of Radharani prefer it when Radha is the queen of the forest next to Krishna. When Radha and Krishna together, the experience of taste is much higher. Raghunath Das Goswami sees himself as a servant of Radha, knowing how to relish the highest love in the billowing waves of their loving exchange. So we mentioned the mood of Raghunath Das Goswami as a dasi. This is also the vision of our sampradaya. If we are connected with Radha, we are like the leaves on the creeper curling around Krishna. And whatever Radharani experiences, we will also experience. Just like, the tree has a creeper, and all the creepers, because they are bound to the tree, they are experiencing something. Similarly, the loving exchanges between Radha and Krishna, whatever Radharani experiences, the ecstasies, the gopis, especially the manjaris, which are like the creepers of the lata, they are able to experience that even without direct contact. So such is the mood of Raj Bhakti. I have heard that in Calcutta, 1930, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur went into a state of ecstasy, saying, "Oh friend Rup Manjari, it is well known that you do not look into the face of any other man than that of your husband. And yet there is a mark on your lips, as if someone has bitten them." This means that you are the servant of Radha and she is with Krishna. So whatever happens in their loving rasa, we also experience. Oh, sorry, just spoke this verse and went into ecstasy and collapsed. If we want something in relation to Krishna very much, we have to learn from Radha and Krishna's servants. If we want Mahaprasad, we first make contact with the servant in order to receive it. In transcendental logic, then we also go to the best servants headed by Lalita. She is the intimate friend of Radha. She carries a piece of cloth to wipe off the droplets of perspiration from Radha and Krishna. When Lalita finds someone in Vrindavan who has some inclinations towards Radha, she will immediately come to that person and arrange a meeting with Radharani. We enter the divine couples association only by recommendation. We need a recommendation letter. Radharani is the life treasure of Krishna, and he is the beloved of Radha. Radha loves Krishna and Krishna loves Radha the most. This is the divine couple, and to reach them, we need intermediaries. First comes Lalita, and we will find this point in all the Goswami's literature. She is so dear to them that she controls them. Do we have people whom you love? If you love them, you trust them. Whatever they say, you do. On the Govardhan Parikrama, Bhakti Bringa Goswami Govinda Maharaj, Bhakti Bringa Govinda Swami was there, and he said, let's do the parikrama every day without rest. Because I love him, I agreed. That is the nature of love. You give your heart. Sri Lalita is controlling Radha and Krishna. Radha and Krishna have surrendered to her. No one ever says no to Lalita, not even the divine couple. I pray to Lalita to recommend me to Radha and Krishna. So this is the position of Lalita Saki. The sadhaka sits in the forest of Vrindavan and chants and prays as demonstrated by Narottam Das Thakur. Vrindavana Ramyasthana Divya Chintamani Dhama Ratana Mandira Manohara. So these are the meditations. One of the assistants, such as Rupa Goswami, will see the sadhaka and she will bring that sadhaka to Lalita. Rup Manjari is Rup Goswami in her spiritual body, in her Manjari board, and that's why she has been referred here. The person, Rup Manjari, will then suggest that the devotee render some service. In this way, Lalita recommends. In devotional service, we always go through a hierarchy. First, we are bhaktas. Initially, I was forbidden to live in the temple because I was singing Rolling Stones songs. Rolling Stone is some, group. I was very young. Then I decided that school was too boring. I needed a recommendation to stay with the devotees. So I cleaned the temple toilets. One devotee who had previously been a saxophone player with Little Richard, Narendra Das, recommended me to the temple president, saying that I was a good boy and knew how to clean the toilets. Later on, I was recommended for initiation. There are different levels of recommendations. When we are in Vrindavan Dhan, we need to behave properly so that Rup Manjari and Lalita can give us a recommendation. The next person to remember is Vishaka, the Shiksha Guru who teaches all the arts required. Vishaka is addressed as Shiksha Guru in this verse, as her voice is sweeter than that of a cuckoo in springtime when it eats the new mango. Vishaka teaches the devotees how they can sing, and she also knows the art of joking. Therefore, the devotees take shelter of Lalita and Vishaka. We can take their shelter by reading Rupa Goswami's Lalita Ashtakam and Yamuna Ashtakam, a prayer about Vishaka in her form as Yamuna. So we can at least, we cannot understand these exalted moods in the spiritual world, but we can recite these prayers every day. Lalita Ashtakam, Yamuna Ashtakam, Radha Kripa, Stavaraj. And finally, we should remember Radha Kund and Govardhan day and night. If we just see them, Preksha was the verse in Manah Siksha, 9th verse, Preksha. Even in our mind's eye, we see them. They will give us love for Radha and Krishna, absolutely guaranteed. Please mark this statement, because Raghunath Das Goswami had used Girindro Tad Preksha. Preksha means to see. They can give rati, they can give love, and we can see physically with our eyes, or we might see, in our mind's eyes. Such is the power of Radha Kund and Govardhan. Such is the power. It is a very important point from this verse of Manah Siksha not to neglect the Holy Dham. The Holy Dham is special because everywhere Krishna has placed his lotus feet. On Krishna's lotus feet there is rati or love. His feet are soft, fragrant, and full of honey of love. If we just stay in that sacred land, we will also get some love for Krishna. But we need to come again and again because we are so dull and covered with so many desires. Therefore, repeated treatment is good for us. So, Vrindavan is a Chintamani Dham. It is 100% spiritual. And as long as we have a tinge of one material desire, even moksha kam, it will never reveal to us. So that is how deep our diseased condition is. So that's why repeatedly we should, take treatment of repeatedly coming again and again to the Holy Dham to purify our material existence. Raghunath Das Goswami wrote that those who bathe in Radha Kund will find how the creeper of love for Radha will grow in their heart. He speaks about it. Rupa Goswami speaks in Updeshamrit, last verse, 11th verse also. He explained how Radha Kund reveals darshan of the divine couple. One day, this is the story now, Raghunath Das Goswami sat before Radha Kund and witnessed a wonderful scene. Radha and Krishna were splashing each other with water, and then Krishna splashed water right into Radharani's eyes. Everyone chastised Krishna, saying it wasn't fair. Radharani fled and hid herself among the golden lotus flowers so that Krishna could not see her. Krishna, when diving into the lotus flowers, saw gold everywhere. He had so much love in his heart that he thought he saw Radha everywhere, but he could not find her. Krishna looked up and saw a group of bees. My Radha has breath as sweet as honey, thought Krishna. So he was able to find her from where the bees were. Then there was a loving exchange. At the conclusion, Radha put her arms around Krishna and Krishna swam in Radha Kund. This story is based on the Radha Kund Ashtakam of Raghunath Das Goswami's book, Sri Stavavali. Stavamala is composed by Rupa Goswami, where there are prayers. The Lalita Ashtakam, we saw that. And the Lalita Ashtakam and Yamunaka Ashtakam is there. Raghunath Das Goswami also composed prayers, which is called as Sri Stavavali. The Rupa Goswami is Stavamala, this is Stavavali. And in Stavavali is the Radha Kunda Ashtakam. Raghunath Das Goswami felt ecstasy, which is there for every pilgrim. The Dham will reveal Radha and Krishna to us. Just by the vision of Giriraj and Radha Kund, Rati will arise. Please remember, just by having the vision of Giriraj and Radha Kund, if we are chanting and are aware of the pastimes, we might catch a glimpse of Radha and Krishna, the perfect picture for meditation. Krishna Bhaktas always meditate on the ideal surroundings for service to the Lord. We meditate on the Dham, Giriraj trees, a soothing atmosphere, bees, birds, Yamuna Ji, Radha Kund, and on the associates who will then invite Radha and Krishna. Krishna's devotees know that Radha and Krishna will never leave a heart that has become Vrindavan. So we make our hearts Vrindavan. Vrindavan Chandra and the Vrindavaneshwari come together, and the Chakora birds are drinking their waves of beauty. This is also the vision of Sampradaya, the Hare Krishnas. Once there was a minister from Bharatpur who was performing a Dandavat Parikrama around Radhakund. One disciple praised him to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Bhaktisiddhanta made the point that the minister worshipped Radharani because she is dear to Krishna, but we worship Krishna because he is dear to Radharani. From Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhav by Bhakti Vikas Swami. This is how to think of Radha Krishna. Sri Raghunath Das Goswami prays in Vila Pushpanjali 102. Oh, Varuru, Radha, I somehow spend my time here aspiring after oceans of nectar. But if you are not merciful to me, then what is the use? Then of what use are Krishna living in Vraj and even life itself? Srila Prabhupada writes in Krishna book chapter 21, persons who are constantly engaged in the transcendental meditation of seeing Krishna internally and externally by thinking of him playing the flute and entering the Vrindavan forest have really attained the perfection of Samadhi. So Prabhupada books are also speaking this in a very simple language. We should be in transcendental meditation, seeing Krishna both internally and externally. Both internally and externally. And how? Playing the flute. He's entering the Vrindavan forest. And that is the state of Samadhi. Samadhi trance means absorption of all activities of the senses on the particular object. And the gopis indicate that the pastimes of Krishna are the perfection of all meditation and Samadhi. It is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita that anyone who's always absorbed in the thought of Krishna is the topmost of all yogis. Here are the perfect meditator yogis, the birds of Vrindavan. So the birds of Vrindavan, this is Prayo Batam Vihaga Munayo Vanesmin Krishnekshitam Tad Uditam Kalavenu Geetam Aruyaye Druma Bhujan Ruchira Pravalan Shrimvanti Milita Drisho Vigatyangavachaha. O mother, in this forest, all the birds have arisen onto the beautiful branches of the trees to see Krishna. With closed eyes, they are simply listening in silence to the sweet vibrations of his flute. They are not attracted to any other sound. Surely these birds are on the same level as great sages. So how the birds are meditators in Vrindavan? There are the Chakora birds, the unusual birds living on who fly together in the day but must spend the night separately. There are also the Chataka birds who drink only water falling from the clouds. So the Chakora birds live on moonlight. The Charvaka birds are round ducks who fly in the day. And then there are Chataka birds who live on the water of the clouds. Then we will find the swans of Vrindavan and the Kanjaka birds who move restlessly. Then there are Kakus and the Fahihan birds who call Fikahana, which means, where is my beloved? The gopis call these birds great saints. The birds sit silently and listen to the flutes. So when Krishna is playing the flute, they are rapt meditation, listening to the sound. We could say that they are ordinary birds, but Purnamashi says they first take asana, then they do dhyan, and then have darshan, so they must be yogis. When Krishna sees such appreciative birds, he puts his flute aside for a moment, but the spiritually conscious Venu then plays out of its own initiative to please the birds. The flute on its own, it plays. Krishna lifts the flute, blowing special ragas without his breath, and looks at it with amazement. Krishna is so much inspired by this scene that his heart opens and he plays inconceivably beautiful music. The bird yogis then see the vision of Samsundara in their hearts, and then as Krishna continues playing his flute, they start singing with Kirtan, O Krishna, O Krishna, O Krishna. This is the perfect meditation under the guidance of the authoritative Manah Siksa. This is a perfect picture of Radha Krishna with their associates Lalita and Vishaka in Vrindavan, with Govardhan Hill and Radha Kund. So Maharaj took us into some, pastime, picturizing the whole scene at Vrindavan. So this is Sachindan Maharaj commentary on 9th verse. Any questions, any clarifications? These are all leelas. There is no, I feel need for any questions, but still, anyone has any questions? Any practical questions? Any clarifications? Okay, 1 minute. There's one question. Yes, Rasparani Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Thanad. If you could shed some light on the grammar, this thing you said, no, systematic study, because it often happens that we have a routine of reading the books, but then it becomes just reading more of a ritual. So when it comes to systematic study, book by book, how can one proceed?
Yes. Firstly, in systematic study, as I was mentioning, there are different books and all have their different categories. So one has to have a clear understanding of these categories. Just like there's a Bhagavad Gita, but there are many small books which help us to understand the Bhagavad Gita, like the Raj Vidya is based on 9th chapter. There's a Perfection of Yoga, which is based on 6th chapter. And then there are Matchless Gift. These are like the small books. So these small books are like, study books for more better understanding the Bhagavad Gita, foundational books for Bhagavad Gita. So this is how first we have to categorize and begin our study. And when we say systematic study, now study means it has levels. We just don't read. There are stages of learning. There is something called as Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. So this is given in the Shvetashwar Upanishads and in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, Aditi, Bodha, Acharana, and Prachar. The Patanjali Yoga Sutras say 4 stages, and the Shvetashwar Upanishads, or I don't know which Upanishads, mentions as 3 stages. But ultimately, both have the same understanding. We hear and we contemplate on what we have heard, and then we put it into practice, what we have heard. So these are the stages, and this is a vast subject and separate seminar itself where we need to explain this. And when we start studying like this, books, then we find it interesting. And just like students have exams to know how much they know the subject, so even the basic level study of Srila Prabhupada books, we should have certain kind of examination or a verifying methodology by which we understand whether whatever we have studied, we have grasped the subject. And not only grasping the subject, getting the right understanding from the teachers is very, very important. So I would recommend that there are some books which you can study to understand how to study systematically the scriptures. Most important is a compilation of Satsarup Das Goswami on reading reform book, where many quotes are there of Prabhupada about reading, how to read, and what is the systematic method in that. And as I mentioned, it is a seminar in itself, and time doesn't permit us now to discuss in detail about it. But in essence, it is Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasam. Or Aditi means to hear or read. Bodh means to get an intellectual insight of what you have read. Acharan means put it in practice, apply it in your life, and then preach, prachar. So these are the stages of learning. I hope it is clear, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Any other questions? Okay, so we'll stop now. And now only 10, 11, and 12 verses are remaining. Again, they are very, very short and brief. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentaries are very exhaustive. And that within maybe in 2 weeks, we'll be able to finish that. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami ki jai. Shri Manah Shiksha ki jai. Hare Krishna.